Where is it? Does Game Freak even know anymore? Early 2023 has come and gone. Even April has come and nearly gone. Whether you want to look at the quarters of the year in the 3 or 4 month format, it doesn't explain insolent Game Freak's infinite amount of incompetence and why they are once again fumbling the ball when it comes to them doing the job they're paid to do. It's easy to see that Game Freak needs more than help. And apologies, where is the Pokemon Home early 2023 update? And no, this article does not have the answer. It's late 2022, duh. Maybe that's what Game Freak meant. In the meantime, enjoy another Blissey raid and a collection of starter raids. So it's not really a question of when Pokemon Home is actually coming. It's a question of why does insolent Game Freak continue to get away with such insolence? And if you're looking for that answer, ladies and gentlemen, look at the majority of the very same fan base that lets them do such a thing. Yeah, everyone is fed up with Niantic, and I hear you guys. I understand your pain, even though I never gave a fuck about Pokemon Go since day one, and I still don't. But why is it that there's outcry, petitions being signed, and pressure still being applied to Niantic despite the many fuck yous that they have given you? Whether they are ignoring you deliberately and obviously, or mocking you to add an extra bit of salt to that no fucks given injury they continue to inflict on you, they continue to persist with their sentiment as much as you all are persisting with yours for them. I'm just pointing out the inconsistency here. What makes Game Freak so special, despite being equally, if not more, incompetent than Niantic, that makes people more forgiving of Game Freak dropping the ball all the same? Nintendo, the entity everyone loves to blame for having an oppressive grip on Game Freak because deflection is so fun and easy, admits, albeit with yet another tone-deaf statement I'm sure all of you Pokemon Go fans are familiar with, that there are issues with the broken and incomplete Scarlet and Violet games. And it took, what, less than a month for them to realize the obvious? As much as Scarlet and Violet is so much free real estate for anyone to go to town on, I've always wondered why the Pokemon models that they updated the textures of in these games look so damn good, but everything else suffered and failed as a result. Whether it's the oppressive vice grip that Nintendo and friends have on Game Freak, or the absurd release schedule that they still continue to commit to despite being way too incompetent to keep up with, their time management on top of a shitty release schedule needs just as much work. But then they start rolling out patches. Sounds familiar, doesn't it? One of those patches is allegedly corrupting save files. Here's a bit of interesting trivia I'm sure most don't think about, and it really makes you think about the long run. When or if they ever decide to figure out and fix all of this shit, it will never stop these games from being yet another shining example of insolent Game Freak's insolence. By the time you're unable to update these games and your Switch, can you imagine how much the poor kids are going to be totally lost as Game Freak is right now when they attempt to play this virtually unplayable shit called Scarlet and Violet? And I thought patches were supposed to fix the problem, not make it worse or be yet another zero sum. And the best thing about this save data glitch that miraculously came with this patch is that no one knows what is causing it exactly, but at least the same insolent entity that has all of these glitches doing the most is aware of the problem, because apparently people outside of Japan are reporting that they're being contacted about their saves. Players discover a fix for the Scarlet and Violet save data corruption, which really isn't much of a fix because it's not for the save data not recognized, please turn off the Nintendo Switch error. It's for the save data is corrupted error, but it requires you to start an alternate Nintendo account or switch to a different one. Then you have to play a new save file on the alternate account to the point where you can save, but it doesn't really address recovering any lost data. Where do you even begin? You have to risk losing your data when playing Scarlet and Violet, and you don't don't know why. Numerous bugs and glitches still plague the games despite the latest patch that was released. So you have performance glitches, save data corruption glitches, gameplay features removed from the games in general, like turning off animations whose omission has no logical standing whatsoever to begin with. And well, did you see it? Have you noticed a pattern yet? This is the latest update. Look at the many problems that it addresses, but yet it does not address the performance issues among many others that Scarlet and Violet are still suffering from. This is the patch that was released before it. This isn't all of it, by the way. This is the rest of that patch. And finally, look how tiny they are. Aren't they cute? Here are the patches that started them all. Here's the one that was released before the games even released. And the big thing it did was reduce stats for Tinglu, Chiyu, Qingpao, and Wo-Chien. And here's the 485 megabyte patch that was released less than a month after the games released. All of these patches and the games still aren't ready to be put on shelves. But hey, thanks to this lovely and utterly forgiving fan base, unless you're Niantic, of course, these games are still sold to 10 million units in 3 days. Yeah, you're looking at the same games that got to review bombed on Metacritic here. How do you have so many problems that you released in a worse state than Brilliant Diamond and Shining Pearl? Those games received the 6 patches, and Scarlet and Violet are already up to 4 in less than 6 months of their release. And of course, the similarities do not end there. Then again, comparatively, there were less fuck-ups with Brilliant Diamond and Shining Pearl than they are with Scarlet and Violet. Niantic needs to assume control of the Pokemon games. Maybe the problems will be taken more seriously. Please name one entity in any franchise that gets so much slack cut for them. Can you imagine Tears of the Kingdom releasing in the exact same state? But hey, they sure didn't waste any time getting that Scarlet and Violet $35 DLC announcement out, did they? I mean, the audacity, right? You put incomplete and buggy garbage on shelves, so of course it only makes sense to announce an opportunity for the same suckers, consumers, to throw away, invest more money into your scam, product, regardless. And the more that happens, ladies and gentlemen, the more this will, well, you get the idea. I just wish ordinary working class individuals like you and I had this much leeway to incessantly fuck up. Instead, we would have lost our jobs a long time ago, because that's what's supposed to happen if you can't do a job you're paid to do. No hugs, no apologies, no mercy. The fans want to act tough and speak up now, despite Game Freak being in the game longer, along with their incessant display of incompetence. Yeah, I guess it makes more sense to have choice words for Niantic instead.